To start the drawing, first thing we're going to do is create our exploded view. So as soon as I find it up here, exploded view. And then let's go ahead and just take this one up. So clicking on it, and then we'll drag it out. Apparently my auto spacing is on. So since I'm only doing one, I'm going to turn the auto space off. And we should still be in that that chain or that step, since I haven't accepted it or done it yet. So if I put in 2 inches, it's a little bit more, maybe 3 inches. Okay, that's visible. Then I can mark it as done. And then I'm going to bring this one out in X, and auto spacing was still on. So we'll go done. And then I can bring this one out. Maybe I'll turn auto spacing off first this time. And we'll bring it out. It goes a little bit quicker. And OK. So once we have the exploded view, that's going to live under the configuration tab, under its configuration, even if the only one's the default. If I double click on the explode, it's going to collapse. Double click again, it's going to explode. It's also the same as right clicking and collapse. Right click and explode. So we want to save that, and no need to save this as a separate file. This is going to be visible in the drawing. We're going to go over to the drawing. Noticed a few going up to the D and E size, and when you get that big, the text for your dimensions gets really small, 1/8 inch on a 4 foot by 6 foot piece or thereabouts. So the largest I would recommend is going to a B size. The A size is okay. We need to look at simplifying a drawing template for this. So we'll make that a separate video here pretty quick. So the 6-10 will come in, and came in pretty large. But when I have the exploded view, if there's no exploded view in the file, you're not going to see this this checkbox. So that would be one of the indications. And let's click, and down here at the very bottom, let's make this a half size, and that's pretty much going to be for everything on the sheet. All right, so if I wanted to stay with that, we could do the assembly. So one of the things we haven't done before is the jog lines. So we'll look through here, view layout, annotation, sketch. Not going to be under markup and evaluate. Oh, I bet that is back under the assembly again. So if we accept the view and then come back up to the window, go into the assembly, I want to explode that out, and then back under. Look across here, not in the layout. Let's see if it's on the S key for these. Insert components, show hidden. I'm sure it's right in front of me again, but not seeing it. So if can't find it there, I can always go over to the insert. Still not finding it. Alright, so since those aren't coming up, let's go with, and that's the other jog line. So how about exploded sketch, explode sketch, and that's the toolbar, and then the exploded view. So one more, oh, there it is, exploded line sketch. So that was what I was looking for. We'll get that figured out. So I think I want to go to that face, and then since it's going all the way to the bottom, and I don't really want the jogs in there, so we're not going to do a long XYZ. And actually I probably just have to go back and edit that since it's in the group. Reversing it, no, that doesn't help. And there's no alternate path available. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and keep clicking buttons until I figure out what I'm doing here. So that's not too bad, so let's go ahead and accept that one. And then item to connect will be from that point, shouldn't be too bad, to that face. And doesn't appear to like the point since I'm not getting any preview. So that one looks pretty good. And then this one, we might actually want the jog line, but let's go from there to there. We'll accept. Alright, so all those are, well, I won't say they're looking great. So let's go into the 3D Explode, and as the name implies, we are in that 3D space, so 3D is going to be our rules. So I'm just going to get rid of those. And if we grab the endpoint, then I can put that on plane. And a little quick zoom and find that endpoint. And chances are that one's going to be on the plane. Maybe I will try to go point to point and make those coincident. Okay, so that worked out pretty good. Don't really want all of those. Wow, got all kinds of stuff in there on that one. So if I bring that back to the center point, it's not really letting me select. That looks okay. That looks a little better. And then maybe we'll bring that one up just a little bit. And I'm just hitting delete on the keyboard as I'm selecting those. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to let me. Nope, not going to do that. Oops. Don't know that I want to pick that. So let's just turn on the temporary axes. That'll give me something a little closer to select to. Well, that's some interesting colors. And it doesn't want to go to that. And okay, so selecting and then control selecting, that will give me coincident. No, it won't. It didn't like either one of those, so maybe I'll just rotate this around and put it on the face. Oops, maybe not that one. Hit the Windows key there. There's the auto dimension that I was looking for earlier, but that's still not quite it. So let's see if we can just go to the quadrant. Alright, so midpoint or quadrant, that's fine. It just gives us a quick view. And so that's how we're going to get the alignment or the lines in there that show the assembly. So I want to make sure to save. And then in the window, we'll go back to the assembly. Now they're going to show up. I can put those on a different layer, maybe highlight them a little bit. Alright, so let's go ahead with our bill of materials. Easiest way to get to it's going to be the right mouse button, go into the tables, pick up our bill of materials. We're not really looking at indented. There's no sub-assembly, so top level only. Probably going to be our best bet here. I thought I saved one. Let's see if it opens in the template. So it defaulted back to their templates, which I don't think I would have saved it there. And again, my issue with saving in the SOLIDWORKS system files is that if you're under a permission setup or anything like that, depending on the organization, may not be able to have access to those program file locations. So I'll go ahead and hit open for my simple, hit OK to accept, and then we'll place it. Alright, so this was much. If you use the standard default, that's fine. I'm not sure which video I created that in. And then we want some balloons, so let's go up to, and if we've been doing the auto balloon, so since I clicked on balloon, let's run through that process. So picking on a face, we'll line those out. Those look pretty good. All right, and again, we would maybe put those on a, go into our layers, create a layer, since it was a default template. Those aren't going to really be there. So if I click on the piece, we have the format and we have none to choose from. So not too worried about that. We'll build that into to a template here before too long. Next piece, let's go with the model view. And since everything's open here, the C bracket will probably be our next. And advantage here is I can create multiple views, and they're all going to show up in the work area. And a little bit big again, so let's go to half size. That works pretty good. And I like to go through and just set up all my drawing sheets, get everything in. Less likely that I'm going to miss something, but doesn't mean that I won't overlook one of the parts. But with 4, it's a lot easier than 10 or 12. So the screw with the configuration. Well, let's go ahead and bring the arm in, and we'll grab the top view. And I'm not sure which one. Probably for space. Well, we'll go ahead and put the isometric in there. That doesn't really help me. That saves a little bit of space, so we'll go with the right side view. Nothing really on the top view that's going to add value to the drawing or to the detail. All right, so we go either way for the model view. Let's do the model view first. And so when I bring in the screw and the arrow, we're going to go to let's bring in the adjustment first, and that's going to let me make the selection right there. And I can go with multiple views. We've got the isometric. I should only need the 2 views, and we'll go ahead and accept. And then I want to make this long ways to kind of match the format of the drawing, so we'll come up to the heads up. Rotate should be available as a default. And oh, there it is. I lost the pop-up. And we'll go 90 degrees and apply. And it warns me that if there's any dimensions, so we wouldn't want to go through all of the dimensioning and then decide to do this. Alright, so there's our views. We could rotate that around, but not too worried, or I could just pick a new projected view if alignment. That looks pretty good. Alright, and then if I come over to the view palette as an alternative, and we go back to pick up the screw. It's currently in auto start the projected view. I'm not seeing, well, that must be the current version of it. Not seeing that easy as selection, but we'll go through the process. And we still have the reference configuration over here that we could pick to and bring that up if I needed to change it to the adjustment. All right, so the 1-to-1 looks okay. I think we'll rotate that over again, make it a little easier. Not worried about the dimensions. Oh, that one actually moved with it. So must have had that selected, or because it came in, it was linked as a parent view. So yeah, pivot screw linked to parent, that would be our parent. So just kind of by virtue of the model view versus the parent view. Okay, so that should be our 4 parts. We're ready to make a dimensioning pass. And again, we design and we build the parts for convenience, and we may or may not use all of those dimensions. But if I wanted to bring in, let's see if I can find it here, the annotations, I can go to model items, and we're going to bring in for the entire model. Don't want to bring everything into all views. That would make kind of a mess. My dimensions were turned off, I believe. Actually, I did not check in this one. So let's see what it does. Marked for drawing. By default, all dimensions are marked in drawing, and I haven't been seeing the purple lately, so I must not have done it for 2020. But this is where the logic comes in of if I mark something for a drawing, it's critical, or I consider it critical, and I want it to be brought in specifically, where the rest of the dimensions may not be as appropriate to use in my drawing. So let's go ahead and see what we get. No dimensions or insert, does not have. So we'll try that one more time with the not marked for drawings. So everything comes in, we're in inches. If I switch back over to millimeters, grams, and seconds, that'll update. So that brought in for the view. All right, and so just like I dimensioned it in the sketch, this is what I'm going to get when we insert those model items and they build from the part. So if I decided that the 20 was not such a critical dimension, or one of the 20s was not such a critical dimension, really we're not too tight on the arm going in there. So if I start to think about my tolerances, of the 3, I would probably keep 2, with the gap being one of them. The other 20 not so much. So if I'm going to reapply this this dimension, I'm going to bring it over. So notice that we have a different layer or different format. So let's see what those pull up as. So other, and this one's set at none, and other, and this one's set at none. So other than it being a an inserted from SolidWorks, we have the kind of the grayed out. So that would be another reason to do the layers. All right, so the 40's there. We need a thickness, and then we'll put a dimension. So we don't need to duplicate the 40. We might even need a bottom view for this item. And so if I bring this up, that'll be centered. The little palette that's coming in is if I click on one, see if I can get that to come back up. I don't need a duplicate 60. And if we go to the other side, that circle or that half circle is just determining very quickly, instead of dragging all the way over, where it's going to be placed. And I just realized I put the 30 there already. So let's just keep escaping out of that, get past my my demo. All right, so that one's going to be at 15 as well. And then we're going to need a hole call out. So we have the one on the far side, and this is where we want to make this as clear as possible. So we have the through hole for 14 millimeter is through, basically through the near side though. And then if we go to the inside, this is going to give us our tapped hole call out with the class of thread in metric, the 6H. So this might be one of the places where I really want to include the hidden lines, just so that we have that better sense of what the construction is actually doing. The threaded simple form on this side, threaded simple form, and then the through hole on the top. All right. And then we'll go to the M10, get out of that by hitting the select, and zoom to fit. So scaling, kind of separating out, making it a little more readable. We can stretch those. Oh, looks pretty good. All right, so we'll run through. Smart dimension between the two holes. For reference, I would like to have the overall. It's just going to help pick out stock and be able to grab those. So we would come over and add the parentheses. Again, the little pop-up that comes up is also going to be able to make those adjustments. It shows up and it disappears pretty quick, so I guess that would be why I don't use it as much. And then this part is at the 1 to 2, and it could stay at the 1 to 1. I think we would be okay there. Okay, we'll adjust those back a little bit. So we'll add our radius to the bodies. I guess we can look at the difference in the hole callouts. Since this is included in the part, it's not going to be as much. We're doing a comparison The diameter is 16. The whole callout's going to have a slightly different lead. It doesn't really matter in this case. And again, if we were going to switch over to the whole wizard for whatever reason, we would probably have to reapply these. It would lose the connection, the associativity. Okay, apply our thickness. That's looking pretty good. So the only thing here is I'd probably just pick them to be consistent. My OCD showing. So smart dimension, pick up the same thing. And again, I'm in the ISO standard for the drawing. If you want to switch, you're going to come up to the options. And I have no preference. There's some things I like about the ISO that I will stay with. So document properties. If you want to go over to ANSI, pick on ANSI. And then if you made significant number of changes or saved adjustments to the arrows or the leaders or whatever, you might want to save that modified template so that you can use it elsewhere. Alright, so we pick up for the adjusting screw, and then we have the length for the simple thread form, the diameter, and then we need to find, I don't know if the whole callout will pick up. It's not really grabbing that one. Sometimes they come through, but I don't remember if I told it to or not. So if we had to put an annotation there, I would probably stay with the diameter of 10 on the body. Let's just put that in as a note, and that would be something I'd want to go back and verify. Don't know why it jumped to that side, but okay. M10 by 1.25. And then if we put in the class of fit, the depth or anything like that, we could build that through. So that gets the note started, but I'm not happy with the callout. So you really want to be on that side. Wow. Okay. Interesting. So this one has the note pulled up on it, but there's enough there to make the part, even if it's not, maybe the 100%. If we went up to 2:1, then nothing changed. We'd want to come over and look at, it's in a custom scale. Use the sheet scale. So I don't remember if this is the one that I did the view palette or brought it in from the model view. But those are kind of the few minor things that you'll see as a difference between the two. I thought I did view palette on that one and model view on the other. Alright, so let's see what we can do. Now this one doesn't show up with the square and it's not going to be very visible. So in looking at this and realizing what I've done, I'm going to go ahead back to the view layout and we'll set a projected view. Go ahead and bring that one out. It inserted the center marks, and again that is going to be under options and document properties. Let's see, what do we have? Center lines, and there's going to be a place where we tell it to insert those automatically, but I'm not seeing it here. Orient to the slots, orient to the sheet. There's going to be a checkbox. We'll look for that one a little later, but somewhere in that in the options we can tell it to add the center marks or not to. Alright, so our annotation, smart dimension, and go 9 by 9. If I needed to, it comes down to how this might be set up. If we wanted to control, we really need to put the centering from the cylinder. And we'll pull those out just a little bit. Lengthwise, we'll go 15. We'll pull up an overall. Oh, that was what I forgot on the other one, which that's why this is an iterative process. And get to this one and I realized that, oh, and that popped up again. So let's see, I picked that side, and then there's an M12 by 1.75 machine threads, which Okay, that's alright, but it's not really my preferred call out. Doesn't look like I'm going to get to change the leader much. Outside, no. Smart. What I would like is that one, but it's grayed out. The directed leader is a little strange there. So again, I have to go back and see what's going on with that call out, but I'll leave that one for now. I don't think we can pick it up as a whole call out. So the outside, oh, this one's going to need to be a dimension anyway, so I'm going to escape, and then we'll put in, oh, that one did pick up the cosmetic thread, so I just, I didn't select very well on the other one. So machine threads for the call out, 20 deep, and 75 overall, 15 from either side, 14 on the diameter, and the M12 gives us the entry. So we'll pull that one out. 10 millimeters on the diameter of the part. Let's see if I can find, yep, it showed the little cosmetic thread symbol and I just missed it, so give that a little bit closer. And those are looking pretty good. So I'll go ahead and zoom to fit, make sure to save it. And that'll need another couple passes to refine, maybe set the layers, but we should be in pretty good shape.